An Irishman walks into a bar in Dublin. He orders 3 pints of Guinness, then sits in the back of the room, drinking a sip out of each one in turn. After he finished all 3, he returns to the bar and orders 3 more. The bartender says to him,
"You know, a pint goes flat after I draw it. It would taste better if you bought it one at a time."
The Irishman replies, "Well, you see, I have 2 brothers. One is in America, the other in Australia, and I'm here in Dublin. When we all left home, we promised that we'd drink this way to remember the days we all drank together." The bartender admits that this is a nice custom and leaves it there. The Irishman becomes a regular in the bar and always drinks the same way. He orders 3 pints and drinks the 3 pints by taking drinks from each of them in turn. One day, he comes in and orders 2 pints. All the other regulars in the bar notice and fall silent. When he comes back to the bar for the second round, the bartender says,
"I don't want to intrude on your grief, but I wanted to offer my condolences on your great loss."
The Irishman looks confused for a moment. Then a light dawns in his eye and he laughs. "Oh no," he says. "Everyone is fine. I've just quit drinking." 2 guys decide to go out drinking on the night before their final exam. Still hungover from the night before, the 2 arrive at the university well after the exam has ended. They go straight to the professor and tell him that they couldn't get to the university on time because one of the car's tires had gone flat. Surprisingly, the professor excuses them and tells them they can come back the next day to take the exam. The 2 students study all night and return the next day ready for the exam. The professor leads them into separate rooms and hands them their exams. Spending the entire night studying is really paying off, as both are completing the exam with ease. As they reach the final question, their jaws drop. The final question reads, for 90 points, indicate which tire went flat yesterday. In a small town, there are 2 evil brothers. Over the course of many years, they cheated, swindled, robbed, and generally stole from everyone they ever did business with. The entire town and surrounding community despise these 2 brothers, as everyone is aware of how dishonest they are. One day, one of the brothers mysteriously dies. Although neither of the brothers have ever attended church, the remaining brother offers the local pastor a large sum of money to say some good words at the funeral. He also offers the pastor a huge bonus if, during the eulogy, he refers to his brother as a saint. The pastor is troubled by the request. However, the church is very poor and desperately needed repairs. The parishioners had heard about the pastor's dilemma and are curious as to what he will decide. As the funeral begins, the church is packed with the townspeople. The pastor begins with the usual prayers and traditions required by the church's teachings. In closing, he pauses and turns to face the remaining brother. He begins,
"As you all know, the departed was an awful individual. He robbed, cheated, swindled, and stole from everyone he did business with. However, compared to his brother, he was a saint."
An old blind cowboy wanders into an all-girl biker bar by mistake. He finds his way to a bar stool and orders a shot of Jack Daniels. After sitting there for a while, he yells to the bartender,
"Hey, you want to hear a blonde joke?"
The bar immediately falls silent. In a very deep, husky voice, the woman next to him says,
"Before you tell that joke, cowboy, I think it's only fair, given that you're blind, that you should know 3 things. 1, the bartender is a blonde girl with a baseball bat. 2, the bouncer is a blonde girl with a billy club. 3, I'm a 6-foot-tall, 175-pound blonde woman with a black belt in karate. Now, think about it seriously, cowboy. Do you still want to tell that blonde joke?"
The cowboy thinks for a second, shakes his head and mutters,
No. Not if I'm gonna have to explain it 3 times.
A new executive is hired to take over a struggling business unit. During the handover meeting, the previous executive gives the newbie 3 numbered envelopes with the recommendation to open them when things go poorly. After 2 quarters, profits don't improve, and the new executive starts to feel significant pressure from his boss. Remembering the 3 envelopes, he opens the first one and reads the message, "Blame your predecessor." He dutifully explains to his boss the previous executive had left a bigger mess than expected and it will take a bit longer to fix things. But everything is under control. Satisfied with the explanation, the boss turns his attention elsewhere. A few quarters later, the business unit is still missing its financial projections. Having learned from the previous experience, the executive consults the second envelope, which contains the message, "Reorganize." The executive makes a number of critically needed changes and doubles efforts on core strengths. Financial results seemingly improve. Less than 2 years after taking over the business unit, the executive finds himself in another crisis. Out of ideas, the executive goes to his office, closes the door, and opens the third envelope. The message says, "Prepare 3 envelopes." A Polish man marries an American girl, and though his English isn't very good, they get along very well. One day, he rushes into a lawyer's office and asks him to arrange a divorce for him. The lawyer says that getting a divorce would depend on the circumstances and asks him the following questions.
Have you any grounds?
Yes, an acre and a half and nice little home.
No, I mean, what is the foundation of this case?
It made of concrete.
I don't think you understand. Does either of you have a real grudge?
No, we have carport and not need one.
I mean, what are your relations like?
All my relations still in Poland.
Is there any infidelity in your marriage?
We have high fidelity stereo and good DVD player.
Does your wife beat you up?
No, I always up before her.
Why do you want this divorce?
She going to kill me.
What makes you think that?
I got proof.
What kind of proof?
She going to poison me. She buy a bottle at drugstore and put on shelf in bathroom. I can read English pretty good and it say, Polish remover.
One night, a priest, a preacher, and a rabbi are playing a game of poker, when the cops suddenly bust down their door and arrest them all on the spot. They are immediately taken before a judge who tells them,
Look, it's late and I don't want to send 3 holy men to jail. So if you can give me a good reason as to why you weren't gambling, I'll let you go.
The priest is the first to step forward and tells the judge,
We weren't gambling because no money had changed hands yet.
The judge decides that this is a good enough answer and lets the man go. The preacher goes next and says, We weren't gambling because we hadn't even dealt the cards yet. Again, the judge lets him go. With just the rabbi left, the judge says,
And finally, can you give me a good reason why you weren't gambling?
The rabbi gestures around the courtroom, empty except for the 2 of them, and asks,
Gambling? With whom?
A farmer spends $5,000 on a young registered Black Angus bull to mate with his cows. He puts the bull out with the herd, but the animal just eats grass. He won't even look at the cows. The farmer feels cheated, so he brings in the local vet to check out the bull. The bull is very healthy, the vet explains, but possibly just a little young. So he gives the farmer pills to feed the bull once per day. It will help with his urge to mate. After a few days, the bull starts to service a few cows, and within a week, every cow on the farm. The bull even breaks through the fence and breeds with all the neighbors' cows. He turns into a mating machine. A friend of the farmer asks exactly what the vet gave the bull to cause such a drastic change.
I don't know exactly what was in them pills,
The farmer says. All I can tell you is they work. And they taste like peppermint. One day, a man stops at a fast food restaurant for lunch. After receiving his order, he sits down next to an elderly couple. He notices they have ordered just one meal between them. As he watches, the older gentleman carefully divides the hamburger in half, then counts out the fries until each has half of them. The old man then begins to eat, as his wife sits watching with her hands folded in her lap. The young man decides to ask if they would let him buy another meal for them so that they didn't have to split theirs. The older gentleman says,
"Oh no. We've been married 50 years, and everything has always been, and will always be, shared 50-50.
The young man then asks the wife if she was going to eat, to which she replies,
Not yet, young man. It's his turn to use the teeth.
Dave has been in the insurance business for 25 years. Finally, sick of the stress, he quits his job and buys 50 acres of land in Alaska as far from humanity as possible. He sees the postman once a week and gets groceries once a month. Otherwise, it's total peace and quiet. After 6 months of almost total isolation, someone knocks on his door. He opens it, and a huge bearded man is standing there.
I'm your neighbor from up the road. Having a party Friday night. Thought you might like to come."
Great, says Dave. After 6 months out here, I'm ready to meet some local folks. I'll be there. As the man is leaving, he stops.
"Gotta warn you though, there's gonna be some drinking."
Not a problem, says Dave. I can drink with the best of them. Again, the big man starts to leave and stops.
"More than likely gonna be some fighting too."
Well, I get along with people, says Dave. I'll be all right. The man continues.
"More than likely gonna be some wild sex too."
Now that's really not a problem, replies Dave, warming to the idea. I've been all alone for 6 months. I'll definitely be there. By the way, what should I wear?
"Don't much matter.
Replies the big man.
Just gonna be the two of us."
An 11-year-old Jewish boy was failing math. His parents tried everything from tutors to hypnosis, but to no avail. Finally, at the insistence of a family friend, they decided to enroll their son in a private Catholic school. After the first day, the boy's parents were surprised when he walked in after school with a stern, focused, and very determined expression on his face. He went straight past them, right to his room, and quietly closed the door. For nearly 2 hours, he toiled away in his room, with math books strewn about his desk and the surrounding floor. He emerged long enough to eat, and after quickly cleaning his plate, went straight back to his room, closed the door, and worked feverishly at his studies until bedtime. This pattern of behavior continued until it was time for the first quarter's report card. The boy walked in with it, unopened, laid it on the dinner table, and went straight to his room. Cautiously, his mother opened it, and to her amazement, she saw a grade of 100% under the subject of math. Overjoyed, she and her husband rushed into their son's room, thrilled at his remarkable progress.
"Was it the nuns that did it?"
the father asked. The boy shook his head and said,
No.
"Was it the one-to-one tutoring? The peer mentoring?"
asked the father.
No.
Replied the boy.
"The textbooks, the teachers, the curriculum?"
No.
Said the boy.
"Then what was it?"
His father asked. The boy replied,
Well, on that first day when I walked in the front door and saw the guy nailed to the plus sign, I knew they meant business.